Book 1, Bazur's Plot. Chapter 6, The Halflings. We walk all the rest of the day in silence, one after another, in a queue through the woods. We started on our journey on Myria, Third Woods, and we were heading to island south of First Woods. Elderberg had said that since Bazur lives at Sixth Woods outskirts, it is unlikely we will meet him. But we would need to be careful since he is doing rounds to build up his army. It would not be good to meet him at this stage of our rescue trial right now. Meeting him seems inevitable, but hopefully not yet. More important is that we first figure out how to return the creatures from curses back to alive and living. It was getting darker now. I suddenly realized that I had no difficulty walking. When I came to Myria, I had just wool socks on. I was given these human shoes, which were very pleasant ones to wear. On Earth, I had blisters and other aches, but here I felt like I was in the best shape of my life. That's funny, I thought. I pushed through thoughts aside when Tora stopped in front of me and said, "We have now arrived at the end of the third wood, and we will sleep here, and tomorrow at sunrise cross the river to second wood." I looked around to see where we potentially would sleep, and I was approaching a big tree trunk to lean on it. But Tara stopped me and said, "Here, I will set up a hammock for you." It was already dark, and since Tara was black as night itself, I could not tell where she was at all. I could hear her voice only. I realized that is why she was guiding me to seafarer. No one could see her at all at night, and very little during the day. But I said, "Jump into your hammock. We will give you your sandwich and water there. Then I will dim myself so that we will not be seen by anyone." I did that, and I was munching my food gratefully when Tora put something like a cape or shut over him, and he and his light disappeared. I could no longer see anything or anyone. It was super dark. I just heard, "Now sleep, get some rest." I guess I was super tired since I do not remember anything else from that night. I woke up, Tara touching my arm, and to her words, "Time to wake up. We will cross the river now. We will eat breakfast on the other side with the halflings." I got up, and when I looked back, the hammock was gone. I truly did not see Tora and Tara carrying anything. They must know some serious magic. We walked for less than 5 minutes, and we came to a big river. Whoa, I thought. This river is no joke. I saw the other side, but it was not close. The river was not flowing strongly, it was just moving calmly forward. I looked up and down to see if there was a bridge or crossover place. There was nothing. Absolutely nothing was in the view other than the river itself and the woods on the other side. Tora saw me looking and said, "Normally we use magic to go to the other side of the woods, but now we don't want to draw attention since Bazur seems to appear right after we do magic to a place where we did it. We think he has some kind of warning place everywhere here in the woods. But he does not know how to track fairy magic. Nobody knows. Well, you do now know how to do the fairy magic. Fairy magic can move humans and also us, other creatures, undetectably. For us, it is okay to do small magic things like hide paths and such, but anything bigger would draw Bazur's attention at this stage. So you need to help us to move to the other side, Tora said. I looked at him stunned. Me? I barely know a thing. Tora looked at me and said, "Time for you to practice what Fairy Queen showed to you." I could feel the panic rising in me. I just do not know what to say. Tora noticed and took my hand. It was warm, and it felt safe. He said, "What do you have to lose? You already did it a few times yesterday. This is about you trusting yourself. There's no need for you to prove yourself that you can do it, since you did it already yesterday." His words calmed me down instantly. True, I thought. What am I panicking about? Am I able to hurt you if I do something wrong? I asked. Well, in theory, yes. But since you were able to do it yesterday, it is unlikely you would do it any differently anymore. You did it every time yesterday in a correct way, and that will not hurt you or us. Okay, I thought. Well, he makes a good point, I guess. Aloud, I said. Okay, well, let's try. So you want to go beside that tree, the big one on the right? Tora replied, yes. I closed my eyes and calmed myself. I thought of calming exercises I used to do before presentation or such to calm the nervous system down. I felt my pulse slow down to a normal level. I opened my eyes and looked at the tree and imagined Tora by it and swung my wand. To be fair, Fairy Queen did not say to swing the wand, but right now it made me feel better. And to my surprise, Tora disappeared, and I assumed he was beside the tree since I could not see that far. Just when I was about to say something, Tora spoke. He's there. Good job. Then you move me and yourself. I concentrated on the tree again and imagined Tora there standing by. Tora. She disappeared. Then it was my turn. I told myself that this is a simple thing to do, and I'm strong and capable. And I felt a bizarre feeling in my stomach, and I was standing by the tree. I said to Tora, "That felt a lot in my stomach today." He replied, "Well, the travel distance is longer, so I think that has an effect how the magic travel feels." I asked them both, "Can you tell me again why we walk and not use the magic to meet seafarer?" They both looked at me and said, "Because the magic, when we use the more or longer travel up to seafarer, that is traceable to Bazur. He will find us. This way, we should be invisible to him." I completed the thought, "And we are not ready to meet him yet." I shrugged. I really did not want to meet him, period. The task is to find out how to reverse the magic, to return the beings, the creatures of Myria, back to life. I continued. "Where next?" At the same time that my stomach growled so loudly. They laughed and pointed out to follow Tora. Tora said, "We are not far from Halflings. Let's go." We started to walk straight into the woods. Again, there was no path, but somehow Tora made it appear. Looking around Tora, I could see that there were just a lot of bushes, trees, grass, and unmaintained wood. But he somehow made it happen when the path opened and we were able to pass. Tora, at the end, was undoing the path at the same time. There were no markings of us if anyone was trying to follow us. Suddenly, Tora stopped. I bumped into him. "Sorry," I said quickly. I tried to see around him what made him stop, but I saw nothing first. In front of him were creatures maybe half of my and Tora's height. Tora was a little bit shorter than us. These creatures were not looking happy and pleasant. Tora whispered to my ear, "They are halfling guards." I could hear Tora talking with them, the guards, and uh, asking strictly if we were followed and which protection measures were in place. Lara whispered to my ear, "It is crucial that we do not leave marks so that Bazur could easily find them. Our visit is scheduled, so they know we are coming. but it is most important to avoid creating any clues for Bazur where creatures of Myria are living or residing. Many areas have been deserted and creatures have had to move to temporary places hiding since the old places were known by Bazur. It became very clear to me now why we were being very, very careful not to leave any trace of ourselves. I nodded to Tara and for understanding. After a while of the discussion seemed to end, and one of the halflings signaled us to go forward. We continued walking in a Q formation forward. Shortly, we arrived in an area of the woods that felt really deep in the forest, and no sunlight was able to penetrate. It was the morning, but the air was really dark from above us, too. There was no sunlight penetrating this part at all. The light that made its way down here was making almost like candle-like feeling everywhere. I could see a small trail between, I want to say trees, but they were actually big mushrooms that were like two human heights tall. They were super lovely in color and all different shapes. Wow, I really love these houses, I said aloud, admiring the lovely colors around me. I realize now that the light that I was seeing was actually coming from these houses' windows. But the houses were so tall, so it seemed to come from above. And those dimly lit the surrounding areas. We arrived at what I could only describe as town square, an area that was open with few tables and chairs in groups laid for seating. We were guided to one of the tables to sit down. As soon as we sat, a couple of halflings came up and brought us an amazing breakfast for us. It seemed to be male and female halfling. However, I really don't want to assume. They were dressed super lovely and felt almost like cute Christmas elves that you see in the stores, but dressed in chef uniforms. They smiled and asked us to start eating. I did not need to be told twice, and I focused my huge pile of pancakes and blueberries. This must be the best pancakes I have ever eaten, I said. These are super good. Thank you so much, I said to two chef halflings. They smiled even wider. Happy you like them. They also gave Tara some packages, which I assumed were packed lunch or dinner for us. I was so full after stuffing myself with so many pancakes. I started to feel tired and sleepy. I saw Halfling approach our table from the crowd around us who were looking at us eating in a very friendly manner, though. This Halfling brought me a cup of hot drink and set it in front of me. Drink up. It tastes similar to your earthy coffee, a little less bitter, but similar. It will focus your brain and help you to go forward with a clear mind in your task. I looked at the drink and said, thank you. Funny thoughts came to my head, and I had no problem trusting them and whatever they gave me to eat or drink. But I would not do the same back on Earth life for sure. I finished my drink, and I did not feel at all tired or drowsy. I felt I was very clear-minded, and I could observe surroundings with ease and in a more detailed manner. It seemed that I could notice things that I would not normally pay attention to, almost like my brain capacity had grown. I said, I feel like I got a memory update to my brain, laughing. Halfling, whose name I did not know, said, yes, that is exactly what it does to you. Now that you know what it does, I don't have to explain you why this is super important for you. Here, see these dried leaves in this pouch. When you need help, suck on a leaf on your mouth and you can eat it at the end. One leaf is about the same amount that you have now in your drink. So you have a boost for your brain for a period of time. Use them wisely. I look at the pouch and took it. Thank you so much. This comes very handy, I'm sure. I'm honored for this gift. I put a pouch in my pocket and made sure there were no holes in the pocket. Halfling was following what I was doing and nodded appreciatively and turned around and disappeared. I did not have time to talk to him anymore, but I guess that was not needed. Nobody here in Myria knows me, and if I'm honest, I'm not sure if I'm able to help them either yet, so better just to go forward and see what happens. Tora stood up, glanced at me, and I knew he wanted me to follow after him. So I got up and took my place following his back. We continued to walk in the Halfling trail between the beautiful houses, dimly lighting the way forward. It was a magical city or village. I saw that there were a lot of Halflings there. They seemed to live a multiple Halflings per mushroom house. Some of them were sitting on the stairs of the house watching us walk by and looking at us. Tara saw me looking both sides when we walked by, and I heard her say, "There's a little happening nowadays in Myria. Many creatures are not wanting to leave villages or homes, since that you never know when you stumble into Bazur. So us coming here to the village is a big event for them." I nodded. It made sense. I would love to live here for sure. But everything gets boring after a while.